American children grow up as spectators of nature rather than active daily participants like their indigenous kin. Their contact with wild animals and native flora comes from visits to zoos and botanic gardens, where animals and plants, relocated from their native landscapes, are displayed for public education and recreation. From sunup to sundown, our children are distanced from nature. They are driven to and from school, viewing the landscape from moving vehicles as if watching a green cinema, instead of feeling earth beneath their feet, being caressed by wind, and collecting frogs, acorns, skinks, and seed pods along the way. At school, learning occurs indoors at desks, with curriculum parceled into separate subjects, distilled and abstracted in symbols and pictures on Chromebooks, streaming video, and smartboards. Reality is accessed from devices, electronic tablets, and computers, provided one has a password. The sedentary, vicarious observation of nature via electronic media is described as videophilia. By contrast, Indigenous youth demonstrate biophilia, the human inborn affinity to affiliate with nature. They consider wild animals part of the family and are encouraged to learn their behavior and feeding habits by raising them as pets in the village. Schooling is outdoors in the ancestral village. The place-based social ecological learning is lived by way of integrated experiences of ongoing subsistence alongside adults, transmitted by example and orally through stories and myths. Teachers include one's intergenerational human family, but also one's ecological family of living and non-living phenomena, such as trees, butterflies, birds, lizards, soil, rocks, and streams. The concrete, palpable natural world is the place and way of knowing. Reality is accessed directly with all of the senses and encoded in language. Indigenous children mentally map their landscape in words of image-rich place names, plant and animal names, spirit names, and stories that speak to all generations. The World Wide Web for Indigenous children is the web of life that connects all. How can American children become active participants within nature? What are some passwords to nature from Indigenous youth? Gardens are foundations of life and daily living for Indigenous people. Gardens are used not only for food, but plants are also cultivated for medicine, dye, and fibers for building and weaving. They care for their gardens as if they are family, and in return, their gardens nurture them. The Zuni Waffle Garden and Amazon Forest Islands are two passwords to nature from Indigenous peoples, replicable at home or at school. The garden is a place for children to experience involvement in the web of life and the cycles of life, as they work the soil, plant seeds, pull weeds, water and fertilize sprouts, rear plants, encounter animal life, and harvest crops. They perform ancestral management practices, expressing the interconnectedness of life, and become rooted in place. Children's gardens are one passport to nature.